What's going on, y'all? David Zbinski here, Colossal Strength Systems, and today I want to talk to y'all about knee pain. Now, knee pain's like a lot of other things, right? It affects a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know why. So what happens, they start ignoring putting any weight on that knee or actually challenging that knee, and those problems over time tend to get worse. But why do we have that pain in the first place? Now, most of that time is due to just like everything else. You don't use your leg muscles. You're not using your calf muscles, your foot. You're not using those muscles that are all around that knee. And when all those muscles get weak, we start to depend on the joints to do the work, right? This is why maybe when you're hiking, you're going downhill, a lot of people get knee pain. Well, more often than not, when people go downhill, they load into that knee joint. They don't tuck their hips, absorb into their core, absorb into their glutes and quads, so over time that knee takes that beating over and over throughout that hike. This is the same in people's day-to-day, right? Now, if you don't sit past 90 degrees, right? You sit at a desk chair, maybe collapse on the couch, but you never hit that deep squat like we're supposed to, that knee isn't going through a full flexion extension. For example, right? Let's say like India, somewhere overseas where a lot of people, even up into their 60s, 70s, 80 years old, are doing a deep squat daily, right? Multiple times throughout the day, because that's just how they relax. That knee's going through a full flexion. And imagine that, they don't run to nearly the amount of issues that people get in the US because of the Western lifestyle that we live. We never hit that deep squat unless you're doing it in a gym and purposefully trying to do the deep squat. So, make sure if and when you can squat deep, you need to work on that so those knees and those tissues around the knees can get proper flexion extension, okay? So if you've already got knee issues, okay, what do you do about it? So again, 99% of issues in the knee, I want you to travel down. More often than not, when you're in the quad and the hip, those start to affect your back pain and hip pain. So when it comes to the knee, we're gonna travel down towards the foot. Now, something I want to talk about is called rooting with your feet. Now, this is the problem with people wearing these Nike Shox or all these different shoes that have a big arch support, like orthotics for an example. Let's go into orthotics. So orthotics are a short-term solution because they put your foot at a greater arch, right? They do the work for your foot. I was actually born with flat feet. I was given orthotics in 2nd grade, and unfortunately, this put me back. While it may make me feel better while wearing those orthotics, over time when I'm working out, my feet aren't doing the work. We gotta remember our feet are muscle, right? They're supposed to have full dexterity just like your hands, right? So your big toe should be moving, all your other toes should be moving. But most of the time when we wear these tight shoes all day, or women wear heels, men wear dress shoes, our feet over time get really tight and we actually can't move our foot. We can't spread the foot. It gets real bogged down and tight, and that affects the ankle. And then moving all the way up, this is my foot, by the way, I'm pretending, okay? So when that gets tight, then the tissues around your calf and your anterior tib, the front of your shin get tight, that travels into the knee. So that way that whole ankle and calf and foot aren't healthy anymore because we're always wearing tight shoes or shoes with an elevated heel, which essentially, over time, chronically decrease your range of motion because you're not even stepping into full flat foot. We're always kind of here, which again, then affects all the way up the ankle. So what do we do about it, okay? Now, I'm sure you've heard of foam rolling, things. So back to rooting, my bad. Right, so rooting the foot, okay? Now, let's zoom in, okay? So if we're looking at the foot, right? Now, what I'm gonna do, this is rooting. I'm gonna spread my toes, dig my big toe, dig my pinky toe and my heel, my knees in proper alignment. This is how I would want to grab the floor when doing exercise, okay? Now, that being said, when that goes down and we're not rooting the foot, I'm going to show you my foot is going to collapse into that, into the arch. So if my arch collapses, collapsing arches, if you've heard of that, this is what you're seeing. So this is a rooted foot. Then when I relax, it dives in and that knee collapses inward and I rest into that arch. Now, that's bad because again, just like we talked about before, when that arch collapses or that foot gets weak, the whole ankle and foot all the way up doesn't work properly, okay? So what you can do is foam roll, get a lacrosse ball. You can roll the bottom of your foot to open up some of those tissues. But then you need to train barefoot. Take your shoes off, okay? And weight train with your shoes off. Challenge your feet. Make sure you're rooting properly to make sure that your foot is working, your ankle's working, all those muscles in the calves are working, and that will help your knee out by strengthening your ankle and your foot. The knee's gonna have to not do as much work. Remember, the knee's a joint, it's not a muscle. It's not supposed to be doing a bunch of work. It's part of the skeletal system, okay? Now, one more thing is also training your foot up on the ankles, right? A lot of times people, even when they run, they collapse into that arch. We're not staying strong through the foot and through the ankle complex. So make sure you're doing some type of training, getting up on your toes, and make sure, again, you're challenging the whole bottom of the foot, the ankle, and the calf, and that should relieve some of that knee pain. Y'all, let me know how it goes. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day.